State. You can see the winds kicking up, the heavy rain there. Mike Hansen's down there, Chris Mulcahy's down there. That is Charleston, South Carolina. Here's another view right here. This is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You cannot see anything in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina right now. Is heavy rain. That's along the Grand Strand, and it's kind of interesting when you see some of the comments that are being made. This is from the Charleston County Sheriff's Office. Power lines, trees are down, flooding has closed roads. Don't put your life on the line. That's a direct quote from the Charleston County Sheriff's Office, where we're getting pounded by heavy rain down there. Big storms currently right now. Some of the highest winds and storm damage is being reported in North Carolina. You can see that line of strong and severe thunderstorms, even some tornado warnings being reported around Brunswick County, New Hanover County, around the Wilmington area, all along there, down towards Little River, down towards Oak Island. We'll zoom in and show you what I'm talking about right here. There's Little River. Here's Rocky Point. There's Wilmington. This line of showers and strong thunderstorms. In many situations with hurricanes, not only do you have hurricane force winds, but these are thunderstorms. Sometimes small tornadoes spawn during these hurricanes, and that's exactly what's happening right now. You can see the tornado warning areas all across areas from Whiteville towards Wilmington, towards Rocky Point, all the way down to Oak Island. Those south-facing beaches out there right now. Rachel Lundberg is with us, as she is every morning. Got some questions from folks out there.
Just off to the side, Larry, helping you out. Yeah, people are starting to join. We have about 400 people, so it's increasing by the minute as they hop on the Facebook Live. If anyone has any questions for you, they can leave them in the comments, and I'll relay it. But it looks like people are just getting on right now. Yeah, you can see the big thunderstorm activity around Charleston. The storm system itself is approximately 80 miles from there, with winds sustained at 115 miles per hour. This is a Category 3 hurricane, so you have already some very heavy rain along the coastal sections from Charleston right up there towards Wilmington, anywhere from Wilmington, Riceville, Carolina Beach, down to Myrtle Beach, all the way down to Charleston in South Carolina. You can see that center of circulation right there, pretty well-defined eye wall right there. Powerful thunderstorm activity being spawned towards Charleston, and then severe storms up around Myrtle Beach all the way towards Wilmington. Some of these outer feeder bands all the way up to the east of Wilmington, and even another line of storms over there. That's around the Outer Banks of North Carolina. This is well in advance of the storm moving towards the Outer Banks over the next several hours. Here's that track as we take a look in Charleston, South Carolina. Still a Category 2 hurricane. Now, here's what's going to happen between late tonight and tomorrow morning. Category 2 hurricane, Wilmington, that's Wilmington right there, so it'd be maybe just to the east of Wilmington, out in the Atlantic Ocean, and then takes a turn. Cape Lookout here, there's the Outer Banks, and it may actually skirt Cape Lookout and head right towards the Outer Banks between, say, late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and tomorrow afternoon. As a Category 2 hurricane. They go right on top of Cape Hatteras, or maybe right on top of the Outer Banks late tomorrow afternoon, then takes a turn out in the Atlantic Ocean. You know, something that we posted on our Wake Up Charlotte Facebook page was the concern of the horses in the Outer Banks and how they make it through. Yeah, you know, there's the wild horses out there on the Outer Banks, down up towards Corolla and that area. For whatever reason, over the centuries, these wild horses have been able to withstand some of the worst weather ever. They have this second nature. They know exactly where to go to protect themselves. But we can certainly think about them and think about all the people being affected by this. But that cone of uncertainty certainly gets narrower as we take over the next 24 to 36 hours with the pathway of this big storm system. Some of the estimated future cast for rainfall indicates Charleston could get over 8 inches of rain. In Charleston, they call it the lowlands for a reason. It is very low, barely above sea level. So you take storm surge, high tides, and the amount of rainfall, that could be actually devastating flooding towards downtown Charleston. It doesn't take much for Charleston to flood, even with a thunderstorm. So imagine with a hurricane what can happen, in addition to the violent winds. Up around the Myrtle Beach area, they could get over 9 inches, almost 10 inches of rainfall there. Up around Wilmington, over 6 inches of rain. And as far inland as you go, you can see Rocky Mount over there in the coastal plain of North Carolina, close to 4 inches of rainfall. Around Fayetteville, in that area, they could get almost 5.5 inches. It's interesting, the fine line you see. Once you get as far west as the Piedmont of North Carolina, the southern Piedmont, that's the Charlotte area, we're not expecting much rain at all. If anything, maybe a tenth of an inch at the very most. You go about 45 to 50 miles from here
to the east. They could get a couple inches, and then notice what they get along the Carolina coast.
Sarah is asking, are you expecting the storm to stay a Category 3 as it moves north, or when do you think it will weaken?
It probably weakens to get a Category 2 hurricane over probably at least maybe the next 8 hours, but that doesn't matter. Category 2 yesterday was 110-mile-an-hour winds, Category 3 111, so there's not much difference. It's still a very violent storm and could still cause a lot of damage, with those hurricane force winds extending out about 90 miles, tropical storm force winds extending out over 190 miles. Big storm.
People are asking about their areas, of course. Somebody said, is the Newport area going to be bad? That Tabitha is there right now.
In Newport, that would be definitely affected by the very, very heavy rainfall, as much as anywhere from about 7 to 9 inches of rainfall around Newport. You can get some winds gusting up to about 75 miles per hour, so that's not, yeah, that certainly could see a lot of damage there as well.
Kay is asking about Camp Lejeune. Am I saying that right?
Camp Lejeune.
Yeah.
Yeah, Camp Lejeune area is one of those spots where those folks are going to get hurricane force winds. They're going to get rainfall anywhere from about 5 to 7 inches around Camp Lejeune. And yeah, potential damage there, potential for some flash flooding as well in that area. Now, this is our storm surge entitled flooding map, where there is a extreme possibility anywhere from, say, Charleston south towards Hilton at 4 to 7 feet of tidal surge and storm surge just around the Myrtle Beach area, 4 to 7 feet. And once you get up towards the Outer Banks, that's 5 to 8 foot. Outer Banks are just right there. You know, they're right at sea level. You have Highway 12 that tracks across the Outer Banks, and every time there's a hurricane, that's completely covered in sand. Sometimes these islands are covered in water, and that could happen right this time with the storm surge, the amount of rainfall that they get.
At what point do you think that this could be headed up toward Virginia? People are asking about that area.
It'll be off the coast of Virginia. You know, that's, obviously we take a look at this map right here, and you can see Norfolk is included at the moment with a low wind possibility. Virginia Beach in that area for a storm surge. It probably will stay that way. It's going to be far enough off the coast, and that really would be late Friday into Saturday, probably as a Category 1 hurricane at that time off areas around Virginia Beach as it moves farther out into the Atlantic Ocean.
A lot of people talking about Charlotte area. You already touched on that, where our weather is getting better. We're not going to be affected, right? We're
going to see clouds today. We're going to see some breezy conditions. We're going to see maybe a little bit of light rainfall. But be thankful here in Charlotte and not where they're going to get these hurricane force winds to the Outer Banks, Wilmington, Russell Beach, Carolina Beach, Oak Island, all the way down to Charleston, Hilton Head. And then looking back inland, you can see there's tropical storm warnings in effect all the way towards areas from, say, around Dillon, South Carolina, Lumberton, North Carolina. That would include Fayetteville, all the way up to Dunn, all the way into areas around Smithville, the coastal plain of Wilson, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. That's where the tropical storm warning is in effect. They could get winds up to anywhere from about 50 to 73 miles per hour. As we take a look and show you pretty close to the Charlotte area, not that far away, here's Charlotte, and that's the area with the tropical storm warning. That shows how the winds reach out about 195 miles. They stop about right there. Now, we here in Charlotte, we could still get some gusty winds this afternoon, winds gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour, mainly along Interstate 77 and east of Interstate 77. So places like Albemarle over towards Concord, Matthews, Mint Hill, Monroe, over towards areas around Wadesboro and Rockingham, you could get some gusty winds up around 30 to 40 miles per hour. Once again, that's along and east of Interstate 77.
Kelly is asking if you could include North Myrtle Beach.
Oh yeah, North Myrtle Beach is right. In fact, right now in North Myrtle Beach, they are getting really gusty winds, very heavy rain, and severe thunderstorms. There have been tornadoes pretty close to North Myrtle Beach around Ocean Drive in that area, Cherry Grove, all the way up towards North Carolina around Oak Island and that area. So that's another area that's going to be impacted by the. In fact, here's Myrtle Beach right here. In North Myrtle, about right there, the winds anywhere from about 50 to 75 miles per hour as this hurricane tracks closer to you. You go just a little bit inland over towards Florence, Fayetteville, up towards Kinston, around Greenville, North Carolina, winds 35 to 45 miles per hour. That's where that tropical storm warning is in effect. And then just east of Charlotte, over towards Rockingham, over towards areas around Pageland and Chesterfield in South Carolina, you could get some winds up around gusting over 35 miles per hour.
We saw a lot of power outages, and we know linemen from a lot of different areas went to the coast. So a lot of people are probably dealing with the lack of power. They need to be charging their cell phones too if they're on their cell phones.
You can, power. There's so many right now. Maybe you get a little latest figure on that
on social media.
We have let me take a look at a live picture, and this is let me step out of the shot here. Frying pan this is way out in the Atlantic Ocean, about 50, 60 miles out there, frying pan, and that's the tower out there, light tower. You can see, remember in Florence, it was I guess Florence, we had the pictures where the flag was completely tattered and torn apart. That's probably going to happen with that situation, but that is a live picture where they're getting sustained winds out there right now at about 70 miles per hour. You can see the Atlantic Ocean in the background out there.
Choppy waves.
Yeah, let's take a look at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. There's the Grand Strand, kind of breaking up because of the winds and the severe weather that they have had there. That's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Did you get?
I'm trying to get the numbers on the power outages, but
that's being updated continually. Our folks down there letting us know about power outages, but we can expect up to maybe 200,000 people without power at some point from the storm system.
South Carolina Emergency Management tweeted about 2 hours ago that more than 81,000 were without power. I know that has increased.
Yeah, I did read the estimates could be over 200,000. That's a lot of people. Winds gusting now, Hilton Head at 58 miles per hour. This is Charleston. Winds gusting to 61 miles per hour. We're going to see a lot of problems in Charleston, South Carolina. Not that they aren't used to hurricanes, but let me tell you, you take a look at the live pictures from down there. This is downtown. This is right there on the Battery. Mike Hansen, our photographer down there, getting the shot.
They've been on the Today Show this morning because their shot has been a good one. Yeah, I mean, Mike's in a parking deck right now. He is so talented at finding, the spot to hide out through this. So he's at a parking deck showing what's going on, and then Chris Mulcahy, our meteorologist, has been standing out there throughout the morning. Yeah, they were in a safe spot. When they're on the air, they're out there in the middle of all that, but they get back to safe. But that's live right there in Charleston, South Carolina. Once again, at the airport, 61 mile per hour wind gusts in Charleston, 28 at Myrtle Beach right now. They'll get more intense as the day goes by, as the storm system starts moving. How slow or fast is it moving? Somebody's asking if Susan is asking.
7 to 8 miles per hour, moving north at about 7 to 8 miles per hour right now. Has picked up some steam, but that's still a pretty slow moving system. The longer it stays close to Charleston or Myrtle Beach or Wilmington, the more violent the weather gets, the more potential is there for high wind damage, storm surge, and obviously the amount of rainfall they get.
Somebody, Dedra, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, hopefully, Dedra, she is talking about Somerville, and I did see Sheriff's Office posting a lot of trees down in Somerville.
Yeah, so that's an area getting some very high winds. They're getting some winds gusting up to about 45 to 50 miles per hour in Somerville. They're getting some very heavy rainfall. They could get anywhere from about 5 to 7 inches of rain there in Somerville, in that area.
Oh.
This is Hurricane Dorian force winds. This is 7 p.m. tonight. Notice that. This is with winds about 74 miles an hour. That's Wilmington, Oak Island, all the way down to North Myrtle Beach. We talked about that a minute ago, Myrtle Beach. And then you get the winds up around 58 miles per hour as far inland as areas just to the east of Laurinburg there in North Carolina.
It's almost 12 hours from now. Charleston is still in that circle.
Yes, that's with that slow-moving system. It's still going to see those powerful winds out there, and then that starts tracking and moving up towards Cape Hatteras and the Outer Banks eventually late tonight and early tomorrow morning.
All right, well, you'll stay busy and keep everybody covered.
Yes, we will. We'll be here throughout the day, let you know if there are any updates on the situation. You can keep it right here, and then the very latest coming up on NBC Charlotte as well. Stay safe and have a good day.